Batista knows Dexter is alive. He's seen the proof. And yet, when he finally has the chance to stop him, he lets him walk. He doesn't pull a gun. He doesn't call backup. He just says, "I want to talk to him." Why? He's a cop. Dexter's a killer. This should be simple, but it's not. Because what if Batista isn't trying to catch him at all? What if he's trying to save him? Let's break it down. Batista and Dexter weren't just co-workers. They were friends. And not the kind of superficial workplace friends who grab a beer and forget your birthday. No, Batista called Dexter family. Remember how often he vouched for Dexter? Trusted him? Opened up to him? Batista wasn't blind. He was loyal. And now that Dexter's alive, that loyalty is being tested in ways he never prepared for. It's easy to see Batista as just another cop chasing a fugitive. But what if he doesn't want to be the one to bring him in? What if deep down, he still sees the man he once laughed with, not the monster hiding behind the scalpel? Because let's be honest, if Batista really wanted Dexter caught, he wouldn't be asking to talk. He'd be leading a task force. Instead, he hesitates. Which makes you wonder, is this hesitation or protection? There's one name we can't forget in this story: James Dokes. Dokes was the only one who saw Dexter for what he was, from the very beginning. And what happened to him? He ended up framed, hunted, and dead. Batista was close to Dokes, and it's no stretch to say that guilt has followed him ever since. He didn't listen, he didn't stop it, and maybe, just maybe, he blames himself. So what if this isn't about justice anymore? What if it's about redemption? Batista might see in Dexter the last thread connecting all those years of loss. Dokes, Deborah, Lagerta, they're all gone. But Dexter, he's still out there. And instead of punishing him, maybe Batista wants something else: closure, or even forgiveness. What would you do if the one person who ruined everything was also the only one left who understood it? Batista knows that Dexter has a son, and everything changes. The moment Harrison's name is mentioned, you can see something shift in Batista's eyes. It's small, almost imperceptible, but it's real. This isn't just about a fugitive anymore. It's about a child who had no say in any of this. A child born into blood, loss, and lies. And Batista, he's not just a cop, he's a father. He's made sacrifices, he's lost sleep over his own daughter, and he's carried the weight of guilt no badge can shield you from. You have to wonder, does he see Harrison as someone who still has a shot at a normal life? There's a silent understanding that forms in that moment. Maybe Batista knows that exposing Dexter would ruin Harrison too. It would drag him into headlines, interrogations, a lifetime of stigma. So instead of going after Dexter with force, Batista pauses. Because maybe protecting Harrison means not punishing his father. So again we ask, is Batista chasing a killer? Or is he quietly trying to protect what's left of an already shattered family? Starting with the only person who's still innocent. Now here's where it gets murky. If Batista really wanted to help Dexter, why didn't he warn him? Why didn't he shut the whole thing down when Angela first started connecting the dots? Why didn't he make a single call to tip him off? Well, because he couldn't. Not without blowing his entire career. Batista isn't just any cop. He's a lieutenant, a public figure, a man whose integrity still matters in the eyes of the law. If he acts too overtly, he becomes an accomplice. He puts his badge and his soul on the line. And maybe he's not willing to do that yet. But look closer. It's not about what Batista did. It's about what he didn't do. He didn't escalate. He didn't show up at Dexter's cabin with cuffs and backup. He didn't go public. He didn't drag Harrison into the interrogation room. He didn't even pressure Angela to act faster. Instead, he asked for one thing: a conversation. That doesn't scream justice. It whispers hesitation. So what if this isn't about protecting Dexter directly, but about delaying the inevitable, creating just enough space, just enough time for Dexter to disappear again? Because sometimes the best way to save someone is to not stop them from running. Now here's where things get suspicious. Dexter escapes. Not from some back alley ambush, not from an underground bunker, but from the very people who should have been prepared, including Batista. How does a man like Dexter, with half the country looking for him, slip away from a veteran cop who's been given all the puzzle pieces? You tell me. Because there are two options here. Either Batista is incompetent, which we know he's not, or he let it happen, maybe not directly. Maybe he didn't leave the door open, but maybe he dragged his feet, looked the other way, gave Dexter just enough time to disappear. And if that's true, then the real question isn't, why did Dexter escape? Why didn't Batista stop him? Batista says he's retiring, just like that. In the middle of what could be the most significant case of his entire career, the return of Dexter Morgan. Think about that. He spends years believing Dexter is dead. Then suddenly the trail reappears. New blood, new victims. Harrison, All signs point to a monster reborn. And Batista? He decides to walk away. That doesn't add up. Unless that retirement isn't about escaping duty. Maybe it's about escaping responsibility. If Batista's not a cop anymore, then he's no longer obligated to follow through, no longer forced to choose between justice and mercy. He can do what he wants, not what the law demands. And more importantly, once he's off the force, no one can accuse him of obstruction. No one can ask why he didn't pursue Dexter harder, why he didn't pull the trigger when he had the chance. Retirement, in this context, isn't just an ending. It's a shield, a quiet exit before things get even messier. So ask yourself this: does Batista really want out? Or is he stepping aside so he doesn't have to watch the system destroy the last piece of the man he once called a friend? At the heart of this mystery is one simple question: does Batista believe that justice always means punishment? Or is there a deeper version of justice, the kind that understands motive, pain, and context? Because Dexter didn't kill for fun. He killed because of a code, a trauma, a system that failed. And Batista? He's been watching that system fail his entire career. So maybe he sees Dexter not as a monster, but as the result of a broken world. And maybe, just maybe, that means he doesn't want to end Dexter's life. He wants to understand it. Or maybe he wants to give him the one thing no one else ever did: a chance. At the core of it, Batista may not believe in justice the way we expect. Maybe he knows what the legal system would do to Dexter: death row, headlines, endless trials. And maybe he thinks Dexter's been through enough. After all, Dexter's lost everything. Deborah, Rita, Harrison, his name, his peace. What would justice even look like for someone who's already lost his entire world? For Batista, mercy might be the only thing left that makes sense. That one final act of humanity. Because in a twisted way, Batista might be doing what Harry never could. He's letting Dexter go. Not because he condones what he did. Not because he's blind to the blood he spilled. But because maybe, just maybe, he believes that everyone, yes, even Dexter, deserves a chance to walk away from their past. And if you've watched this far, you know this isn't just fan fiction. The signs are there. In Batista's hesitation. In his words. In the eerie silence as Dexter slips away. So is Batista secretly trying to save Dexter? Maybe. Maybe not with open arms or dramatic speeches, but in the quiet moments, in the choices not made, in the doors not kicked down. Maybe his silence is the loudest thing he's ever said. But now it's your turn. Do you think Batista wants justice, revenge, closure? Or is he the only one left who sees Dexter for who he really is and lets him go anyway? Let us know what you think in the comments. See ya!